I am a Mocha Mom, and I am back to talk behavior modification. I know a lot of information that I've come across about behavior modification often focuses on the child, maybe rewards charts, and I'm not saying any of that stuff is bad. But more and more in working with my kids, I've come to realize that the weight is more on me, and in challenging myself to make some sacrifices sometimes to deal with the situation in the moment. And it's hard, it's difficult. I mean, there have been times I've just been tired. It's easier to yell, it's easier to nag, it's easier to ignore the situation and just pacify them so I could get through the moment. And sometimes I tell myself I'm going to deal with it later, but I really don't. For example, say you're at a show and you've asked your child to be quiet, and two siblings keep picking at each other and poking at each other. I mean, I can take them both out and deal with the situation in the moment, but that would mean that I would have to miss a portion of the show. Maybe I spent a lot of money on the show. Maybe it's something I really want to see. It's really hard for me to just get up and deal with them. But one thing I've learned is that kids respond to what I do better than what I say. So I could whisper to them, "Stop it. This is going to happen to you if you don't, after the show, I'm going to do this." And, if they don't stop, if I don't do anything, if I really do wait until after the show, my actions communicate the message to them that at least for that amount of time, they can get away with disobeying me. So sometimes, no matter how much money it costs, no matter how much I wanted to see the show, the best course of action is for me to act right now. And one thing I'm learning is that the time for me to know what my action is going to be is not in the moment. I need to pray through these things and think through these things ahead of time. I need to ask myself the hard question: what are the consequences going to be? What is the consequence that makes sense now? When my kids are little, I teach them that if they out and out rebel me, then the consequence is a spanking, and we do that in a very specific and controlled way. But as they get older and spanking doesn't make sense, for example, I'm not spanking my 14-year-old son. So what consequence makes sense for him? If I only have a handful of things that I could apply, how much does it hurt after a while? If the only thing I know to do is take away his iPod, and he can't talk on the phone, and he can't go to basketball, and I only have those three things, and he does more than three things wrong in a short period of time, how effective am I going to be in getting him to modify his behavior? I'm learning that it's not so much about punishing them for doing the wrong thing, so much as teaching them that their actions have negative consequences, and helping them to make the choice about whether or not the negative consequence is something they can live with, or is something that someone else should be forced to deal with. And equally as important, is this something that pleases God? So what do you think? Let me know below. Be blessed.